Hi, I'm Martin Worth, and this is The Mystic Fool. And today, I'm sitting on the beach. So if the audio is not real great, that would be the reason why. Yeah, I was thinking about, I did a podcast on dimensions, and we looked at dimensions from the point of view of different frequencies overlayered on top of one another, thus allowing for the possibility of more than one reality to be occurring in the same place at the same time. And that's valid. You know, we talked about radio waves, we talked about tuning your radio to a particular frequency, or your television for that matter, and getting a completely different experience just by having a change in frequency. So yeah, I do believe that the layering of dimensions due to different frequencies of existence is a possibility. And I probably spoke about the upper and lower sideband energies, where we, even in this thin bandwave of existence, we can have a completely different experience by tuning into an upper or lower sideband of the frequency of the reality within which we exist on this channel, this dimension. Yeah, but I was also thinking about the other aspect of dimensions, that being dimensions of time, which led me to think, yeah, what's time? What is time? I mean, there's sort of stuff like talking about time being a construct, something that we've developed so our brains can actually wrap themselves around the reality of this dimension, of this time-space continuum, so to speak. It's kind of hard to talk about time without talking about time, because what reference do we have for our day-by-day lives other than this simple construct of time? There's the past, the present, and the future. And you imagine yourself walking. Your last step was the past, this current step is the present, and the next step is the future. And if we didn't have a continuum, what we call time, then how would we take the next step? Or maybe time is simply a stringing together of now moments, because this now is not the same as this now or this now. So there was the past now, the past now, the past now, and the present now, as soon as it's uttered, is the past now. But there is no future now, because they're really the past or present, aren't they? The future is undetermined. Yeah, so time. How hard is it to imagine anything without the flow of time? Is time the container, so to speak, the sacred vessel which propels us within this existence? Is time a necessary construct that allows the unfolding of this dimension upon itself? Yeah, cool questions, hey? And pretty much within this dimension of this time, this place, I'm not too convinced that we could actually have a reality without it. I can see dimensions of different frequencies. I can see dimensions being, different lifetimes. I spoke about the analogy of a cupboard full of shoes, and you being the higher self looking in the cupboard, and each of those shoes represents a soul experience upon the earth plane that your spirit, your higher self, has had. And those, each of those pairs of shoes is a different experience, a different reality, a different dimension of time, an adventure, a holiday. And all of those experiences exist contemporaneously within the storage space, the mind of higher self. And does that mean that as higher self, your spirit, holding all those collective cycles of time, which are lifetimes that spirit has enjoyed in incarnations upon this plane and other planes, that they exist contemporaneously within the mind, inverted commas here, of spirit, of higher self? And when we pop out of this reality into spiritual hyperspace, where we're connected to all things through all time and space, do all of those cycles of time, those lifetimes, exist at once? Of course they do. But they're each encapsulated in their own separate dimensions of time. They each cycle within their own dimension of time, from conception to death. Each cycle of time has a beginning, a duration, and an end. And I'm not too sure that those cycles are not repeated. Certainly, they are repeated in memory, as we recall something that's occurred and we play it over in our minds. It can be a simple incident, either positive or negative, a fun experience or a not so fun experience. But when we dwell on that experience, it actually it cycles through from its beginning, its duration, and its end. And as we play it each time, we give it more energy, more emotion. And as we give it more emotion and more energy, it increases in intensity. As it increases in intensity, it gains momentum. Yeah. And that is how we create beliefs. It's how we create assumptions. It's how we create thought forms, life forms, egregores, internal created entities. Within this time-space continuum, there are cycles of time. Yeah. So when we say that there's no such thing as time, I'm not so sure. Is it an illusion? If time is an illusion, then this reality is an illusion. Maybe it's the Matrix. Maybe time is the CPU clock ticking as it executes commands from the master program. There's the thought, hey. So it seems to me that, within this reality, time is the construct. Time is the thing. Time runs. It runs at different speeds for different people. based on emotional content. We all know that. You know, try being bored and see how long it takes between lunchtime and the 3:10 school bell ringing so you can get the heck out of there. Or if you are intensely studying something that you enjoy, that 3:10 school bell comes far too early. Just one example, but you know what I'm talking about. So in this dimension, time is a reality. We've got to face it. The last step, the now step, the next step is the future fixed, or can the future be changed? Can we go back to a past cycle within this dimension, or the cycle of another soul being in a past life dimension, and change the past, present, and the future reality? The past is fixed. The present step is now. But the next step, if that was changed, if we changed the future step of a past dimension of time by reviewing it, reimagining it, whatever you want to call it, we change the trajectory of that dimension of time. A little bit like the butterfly effect, hey? In changing the trajectory of that dimension of time, we are healing the past in the present for our future. Because it's dimensions of time which get us stuck in old patterning. It's dimensions of time which get us stuck in our beliefs, assumptions, attitudes. So yeah, there's a little bit about time. Something to think about. So yeah, if you enjoyed this one, hey, look, leave some comments. I really would like you guys, if you can, to comment. And if you can't comment because you're not logged into Podbean or Spotify or whatever it might be, or you got to be logged into YouTube if you're watching it, I guess. But if you're not logged in, send me an email, themysticfool@martinworth.com. I'd love to hear from you. Let's get some conversations going around some of these topics. Hey, and whether you agree or disagree with me, I like a challenge. So, yeah, hit me up with your ideas, even if they're contrary to mine, because I like to hear new opinions and new ideas. These are my now thoughts, built upon my past experience. They don't need to be my future thoughts. So if you got something that's burning in you that you want to talk about, comment or send me an email. Get in touch somehow or another. You know how to do it. I love to have the conversation. So yeah, thank you. Love you. Bless you. And I hope the best for you. See ya.